Okay, so I've worked in a couple of call centers before, and I'm just making this video to give almost a warning to people who want to work in a call center. So from a guy who used to work in fast food, I was up on my feet all day, running around, making orders in a fast-paced environment. It was tiring physically. So I thought, maybe I should apply for a call center job. I mean, you're sat in the office, you're sitting down, it's relaxing, right? Boy, was I wrong. So when you actually get accepted for the job and you do your training, the trainers and the managers put on this facade, this is the best job ever, this positive facade, this positive fake personality, and then they make you do like icebreakers, and they make you do, tell me 5 facts about you, tell me 3 interesting things that you like to do in your spare time. They don't give a fuck. They're just seeing how you act around other people, and they're just seeing your personality trait. They're seeing that if you're going to be a problem in the future. Training is quite rubbish as well, as in you get bombarded with information. In a span of 1 month, you're expected to learn and understand all the topics that they teach you, and you'll never actually remember anything that you learned in training. You actually learn everything when you're actually taking a call on the phones, and when you actually have to look at the information yourself. That's when you learn. You don't actually learn anything in training. And when you actually finish training, or you haven't been fired yet, because if you do notice when you're in training, a lot of people might have left by now. Either they didn't like the fucking job and they dodged a fucking bullet, or they've been fired. I know one person, this is a true story, I know one person who was fired in a call center on his second day because he was 10 minutes late to the training, and the manager thought that he'll be a problem in the future, so they sacked him on his second day. But yes, once you're on the phones, you're made to feel like you're being supported, and the manager will give you this fake smile and act all happy, lovey-dovey, and say, your targets don't matter now, just focus on taking the call. After about 2 weeks, that facade, that bullshit fake personality will wear off, and it'll wear off very quickly, because once you start meeting your targets, then she'll be on your ass straight away. Although you are sitting down and not moving around much, it's not physically draining on your body, it's very mentally draining, as in there's a lot of anxiety and stress when taking a call. For example, when you take a call, you have to do things in a certain way, and you have to meet all of your targets. When a customer comes to you, or when someone comes to you on the phone, you have to talk a certain way, and you have to pass all of your checks. So things like making the call less than 6 minutes, not placing the person on hold for too long, not being silent for too long. How stupid is that, not being silent for too long? So you could say to someone like, for example, I'm just gonna have a look at this for you, and then you can't be silent for more than 10 seconds, so you gotta keep on talking like a fucking idiot, trying to keep the conversation engaging, as they say. So things like that, and even small things like saying, this is no joke, yeah? So one of my call center jobs, I got told off, I got a disciplinary because I said the phrase, okay, no worries. What? Yes, I said that phrase, and I got told that that's too casual and that unprofessional. Yes. So for example, I could say to someone, okay, I've just sent a letter out to you. Okay, no worries. Have a good day, bye. I did the whole call very good. I did everything right. I passed all the fucking stupid checks. I asked them for their name, even though I don't give a fuck about the customer. Let's be honest, nobody gives a fuck about the customers. So you ask the customer their name, ask a stupid question like, oh, how's your day been? And Scooby-Doo, yabba-dabba-doo, talk shit, answer the customer's questions, answer questions that you don't even know, you're just blagging, you're waffling. And then right at the end, you're about to finish and you're about to pass. And then because I said, no worries, they said I failed the call, and I got disciplinary for that. One girl actually got fired because she said, okay, cool, as in, okay, fine. She said, okay, cool, like at the end of her call, like me, but she said it twice, and she got told off the first time, and then the second time she said it again because it's just in her vocabulary, and she got fired for it. So they actually make you talk like a robot. They want you to be like an unemotional being who knows every answer and doesn't have emotions themselves. So they condition you from day one of training till the end of training to talk like a robot, to act like a robot. So let's talk about micromanagement. So when it comes to working in a call center, you'll be micromanaged like a fucking child. If you're even late for your breaks, when I say late, I don't mean 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I mean 30, 15 fucking seconds. They'll be on your ass. They calculate everything. This fucking manager has all their stats up, and she can see who's on their break. And if as soon as they're like about 10 seconds late on their break, she will be on your ass, and she will either put you into a meeting or a booth or something like that. She'll try and make like it's a big deal and make you really feel like you're worthless and you can't, even if you have 10 seconds late from your break, that's an issue. Although I'm being quite negative in this video, you do get a lot of like nice people on the phone, people who are just genuine. They're very like nice and positive, and they make you feel like you're not under stress. But with a lot of call centers that you work with, people, they're nice, but money or their finances on the line or their future careers on the line, and that's when they become just hard to deal with. And it's not their fault, it's their livelihood that we're talking about. We literally have the livelihood on our hands. Some other people I deal with is vulnerable people, as in people who are crying over the phone, people who are begging you to help them, people who are single mothers who has children and she's calling for you for like her universal credit and stuff like that. Then that puts you in a really dark place, and it's like their energy transfers over to you over the phone. And sometimes you even deal with people who claim that they're going to commit the S word. And I know people who finished like a phone call and just end up just breaking out in tears and crying their eyes out because they just couldn't take anymore. And 99% of the time, you actually have no power in helping the customer. You actually can't do anything. It's something that's been escalated, or it's something that you can't do anything about, and you just have to apologize and say to the customer, oh, we can't help you right now, it's already been escalated. And that really like fucks with you, even though you know that you're doing your best to help the customer, but you can't do anything about it, and then they keep on begging you to help them, or it just becomes a mess, and you kind of have to just tell them you're sorry and move on, and then go on the next call, and then we'll do the next call. So with all of that being said, dealing with your manager, making sure that you're meeting your targets and your stats, dealing with vulnerable people on the phone and dealing with difficult people on the phone, taking back-to-back calls, 60 to 50 calls a day, working in a call center really puts you in a negative mindset and just makes you really depressed. I remember when I finished working in a call center, like after one of my shifts, and then I'll go to my training center, which is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So it's quite a sociable sport, and I kind of didn't want to speak to anyone. I didn't have the energy to have a conversation with people. I didn't really have the energy to talk to people and ask people how the day was. I didn't even have the energy to like smile, because I would just spend my entire day, like 8 hours of the day, just talking to people on the phone. And the last thing I wanted was to talk to more people. It's not that I didn't want to talk to people, it's that I didn't have the energy. I was so mentally drained from the shift I just did that the desire to hold a conversation, speak to people is non-existent. So it really does affect your social life, and it affects your life outside of work as well. Even after you finish your work, the effects of working in that environment transfers over to your after work life. And if you do that for prolonged periods of time, months after months after months, you just become really lonely, and like you're just this loser that wakes up every day, sits on his desk, just talks to people over the phone, and then feels depressed afterwards. It really does make you feel like you're not achieving anything in life. And I also remember when I initially started working in the call center, a lot of the people that was close around me and also in jiu-jitsu actually noticed how unsociable I would become. They would ask me, hey, you look tired, or hey, you look like you've had a long day. My response was, yeah, it was a long day and it was a long shift. So you almost unintentionally like push people away, because nobody really wants to speak to a depressed loser and a depressed loner. So you kind of just end up being alone and depressed. So for one call center I actually worked with, this is not a joke, this is actually, I can't even believe it myself, but I worked in a call center who was taking calls on behalf of a client. The call center quite often had a large queue, like 20, 15 people in the queue. And because the call center didn't want to break the client's SLA. So SLA means service level of agreement. So if the call center doesn't meet this service level of agreement, the client, I think, will give them a strike, or they'll give them a fine, basically. And the call center didn't want that. So when the call center had a lot of people in their queue, they would ask their workers, the agents, to tell the customer, I'm sorry, but we have a high volume of people in the queue. Sometimes we'd have 7 people. I remember we had one time had like 5 people in the queue. It's not much. 5 people in the queue, and we got told, guys, please queue bust, please. So what does queue busting mean? Queue busting means telling the customer, so basically lying to the customer and telling them, I'm sorry, we're dealing with a high amount of calls right now, and we'll give you a call back. So you would have to tell the customer that we're dealing with a high amount of calls in the queue, even though we weren't. We had about 7, 5, 10 people, which is not a lot people in the queue, but because the call center wanted to protect its service level agreement, they would make their agents lie to the people they're fucking serving and telling them that we have a high volume of calls in the queue, please call back. They would say, please call back, or we will do a callback. So what a callback is, essentially, you take the customer's phone number and name and you do an outbound call, like when it's not busy. But the fucking thing with that is we never actually did outbound calls. The customer's waiting for a call from the call center and then we'll never get a call, and they would call back the next day and say, I was supposed to get an outbound call, I was supposed to get a call back, but I didn't get one. You're just like, well, what the fuck do you want me to do? So overall, I genuinely believe that a call center job should be run by AI. Just look how fast AI is taking over. Like ChatGPT wasn't a thing 5 years ago. So I think like 5-10 years down the line, I genuinely believe and I hope ChatGPT or AI takes over these jobs, because quite frankly, they're not for humans, man. Sitting still and talking back to back like you're a robot, inhumane. As human beings, we're not really designed or programmed to sit down for long periods of time and do like meaningless tasks. We're designed to be up on our feet and go out there and get the thing that you want, or go out there and fill your purpose. That's why we're designed. And that's how our ancestors lived. They were out all day, or they're fighting another tribe. And it's not in our ancestral traits to be sitting down and talking like a fucking robot. But in conclusion, don't work in a call center. Now, I know sometimes money might be tight, which was in my case. Money was tight and I had to work in a call center anyway. But if you do work in a call center, keep on looking for another job, keep on looking for something else to do, keep on have a next goal, have something else planned. Don't plan on working in a call center for a long time, because I know people who work in call centers for like 5 years, 6 years, and you just look at them and they're like fat, ugly, depressed people who work in call centers for like 5-6 years. So if you do want to take the risk in working in a call center, I would advise keep on looking for things to do, keep on actively doing other things that would get you out of a call center relatively quickly.